Welcome back. My name is Becca. I'm a personal recovery specialist, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the untruths of grief. So that may sound a bit odd, and bearing in mind there are no right or wrongs in the way you grieve, in the way that you need to choose and decide what is right for you in your grief journey. There are things that society has normalized which makes grieving harder. There's lots of things that we think and assume, and they've become so normal to say and do that they are accepted. And actually, as a griever, they can have a really negative effect on you healing. So one of those is, and I'm going to be doing a series of videos covering different untruths of grief. But the first one is going to be about time. How many times have you heard people say, give it time? Time's a healer. Just you'll feel better with time. What does time do? What does time actually do for us? Time doesn't do anything other than pass. So if you're grieving and you've got people saying, oh, give it time, you'll feel better in time, it won't be so painful in time, it won't hurt so much in pain, you'll be in time, you'll be okay in time, give it time, give it time, give it time. Certainly when I was going through my first grief journey, that I found that so difficult to comprehend. I felt like in my head what I was hearing, so my biggest grief journey was being widowed. And when people said, oh, you'll feel better in time, give it time, I literally in my head interpreted that as, so basically with time I'll be okay that my husband's dead. And then I just wanted to swear at them. It was, to me, I was like, I will never be okay with the fact my husband's dead. So why are you even saying that if I just wait, it will be okay? Because that's what I felt. That's what I heard. And it made me angry. It made me sad. It made me frustrated. It made me not want to talk to that person who'd said it. It made me not want to reach out to people because I was scared of hearing people say that. And I didn't want to hear it. I really didn't want to hear it. So I would isolate. I would avoid conversations around my grief, even though I really wanted to talk about it, because there were lots of things I didn't want to hear, and that was one of them. So in terms of kind of that whole idea of time as a healer, now some people do genuinely believe that time is a healer, but time doesn't make us feel better. Time just passes. We have to decide what we're going to do with that time to feel better. So there was an example. I trained, some of my grief training was with the grief recovery method, who have been amazing and a life changer. And this was one of the things that we covered with them and we spoke about quite in depth, because they had people coming to them who they literally had been waiting for time to pass. So there was a lady who had experienced her grief really young. She was early teens, and she came to the grief recovery method like in her 70s or 80s. And she was saying, I've been waiting to feel better. I've been waiting for time to heal me and time to pass to feel better. And nothing's changed because there was no action taken. So to feel better, we can't just wait for time to pass. It does lessen some of that initial shock. When you're first bereaved or you first experience your loss, whatever that may be, a lot of the feelings that come with that loss are shock, which can be really intense. There's so many things that hit you, so many emotions that hit you straight off, that of course that is going to lessen, because you're not going to be in shock a month down the line. You're not going to be in shock. It might take you longer. It might be that actually the reality hits in the first year of being bereaved. I know the first year for a lot of people, including myself, is a sort of non-reality year. You are in that shock for a long time, and then in the second year, it does become reality. So that's different. But if you've lost your job, if you've had a relationship breakdown or a divorce, although for some, definitely it can take longer, but that shock period is not going to last forever. Whatever the timeframes are right for you, and that is not the time frame of how long the shock and the initial impact of those emotions, that is not in question. That at some point, whatever is right for you will lessen. But your grief, the pain of your grief, will not just disappear with time. That will not lessen with time. We have to take action steps to do that, which was one of the amazing things that I learned with the grief recovery method, was how to take the action steps to feel better over time. But I had to do it. And this is why I teach the grief recovery method, because it is amazing for taking those action steps and being able to heal from the pain of grief. So your grief doesn't go, and I don't believe that grief itself ever goes. Once you've experienced loss and bereavement, it's part of you. And whether that be loss of a person, loss of a pet, a relationship breakdown, loss of a job, a house, whatever it is, it all stays with you. Maybe it creates a life experience and it makes you stronger. You become more emotionally resilient. You know more of what you want in your life. You know, there's different losses. You may not feel it in the moment, but they definitely bring something to your life, even if it is just a life lesson. Good or bad, life lessons are really important. So what I'm saying is, if you can take the actions within time, that will lessen the pain of grief. Your grief will stay, but you can live with it, you can manage it, you can be with it. You can totally live your life fully, 100%, wholeheartedly, with passion, with joy, with purpose, if you can heal from the pain of your grief, which is possible if you want it. If you want to heal from that pain, 100%, I will say that you can. If you don't want to, then you can't. But don't wait for time. Whatever you do, don't wait for time. Reach out and get the support to take action steps to heal from that pain. All right, guys, I hope that makes sense. And I really want to, part of doing these videos is also to give you that positivity and that hope that there are ways of being able to live with your grief, being able to remember and smile, not be taken out by your grief. I remember sometimes my memories, my thoughts, my feelings would literally stop me from being able to function for a couple of weeks sometimes. I spent years of my life not being able to function properly, and certainly not on any consistent basis day to day. And I don't live like that anymore. I have healed from that pain of my grief, and I can fully be present in my life and enjoy it, which is super exciting. And I feel that in itself has been a gift. So please don't wait for time. Reach out. And if you want to talk more about this, absolutely jump on and connect with me. My website is www.beworthy.co.uk. And I'm here to support any of you who are struggling with grief or personal trauma and loss. All right, guys, I send you lots of love. Bye.